What's going on, guys, and welcome to Chillin with Bd0MZ. This is the second installment that I've done on this now. I'm actually recording this right after the first one, so I haven't even seen your comments or anything, but I had two topics that I wanted to cover, and I wasn't sure which one to start with, and I wanted to get them both out. So I am recording this straight after the other one. I haven't even uploaded the other one or done anything with it. So hope you guys enjoyed the first one. I will leave a link to the playlist in the description. So in this one, I want to talk about people. And you might be like, well, what do you mean by people? Just people. I live by the motto that people are people, and it doesn't matter where you come from, who you are, what you believe. Everybody is a person, everybody has the right to their opinions, and not everybody falls under the same category. And what I mean by this is, this will be the first time, by the way. This is going to, I should put this, I'm going to put this at the beginning of every single one of these. This series might bother some people. So I just want you guys to know this is going to involve a little bit of religion talk. This is going to involve, quite a number of touchy subjects. So if you guys don't want to hear it or anything like that, click off. No worries. They're not all going to be serious. I had two things I wanted to talk about, and these happen to be the two. So a little background, which I guess I should do at the beginning of these before I actually get going into what I really want to talk about. I didn't do that in the last one, and I was thinking about it as I did it, and I was so far into it, I almost restarted anyways. But when it comes to myself, you guys can tell, I'm white. Pretty obvious, I'm white. I do have like a little bit of a mixed background in terms of, like ancestors and stuff like that. But I'm a white male living in America, So this is coming from my perspective. I also am not a religious person. I am spiritual, but I'm not religious. And a lot of people don't understand that you can be spiritual without being religious. It's just you're spiritual about different things. You might not believe in a God. And I don't even deny the fact that there could be some sort of God. God could be exactly what it says in the Bible. He could just be, the man with a beard in the sky who has all the power in the world. Or a God could be an alien that's just far superior to us in every single way. And he just seems like a God, but really he's an alien. So, I don't deny that a godlike creature, character, person, I'm not denying that it exists. I'm just saying I don't necessarily believe in that myself. However, I want to preface this by saying believe in whatever you want. I'm really good friends with Muslims. I'm friends with Christians. I'm friends with Jews. I'm friends with other atheists. So just because I don't believe in the same thing as you doesn't mean that I don't have any respect for you. You want to go to church every Sunday. You want to pray before bed. You want to kneel to Allah. I really don't care. I really don't. I was talking to somebody on Discord earlier, and we were talking about racism and everything, and I told him that white people are one of my least favorite people, and it's kind of funny to think about that, but a lot of the idiots out there are white guys because they get away with it. So I just wanted to preface this by letting you guys know my views on things, and I'm not going to talk about religion much ever. This is one of the few times I will, because I'm not really talking about religion. It's just kind of related. So a lot of people out there, they use their religious preferences in order to form their opinions, which is okay, and I have no problem with that. It's when you go to force your opinions on someone else that I really have a problem with. Whether it be gay rights or whether women can have abortions or not. There's a whole list of things. Having a baby out of wedlock, this and that. And I know that I'm drawing from a lot of Christian beliefs, but I live in America. There's a lot of Christians. Um, so, as long as you keep your beliefs to yourself, or not even keep them to yourself, but you don't force them on other people, then I'm totally fine with religion. It's when it crosses that line that I have a problem with it. So with that preface out of the way, I want to just kind of talk about stereotypes a little and why they're all wrong, all of them. I mean, obviously some of them, have some truth to them, like black people like fried chicken. Yeah, I don't think I've ever met a black person who didn't like fried chicken, but I'm not black and I like fried chicken. My parents aren't black, they like fried chicken. My friends aren't black. Well, I have one black friend, and actually, I don't think he likes fried chicken. Well, he does, but he's not crazy. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Yes, that's a stereotype, but you could say that about so many people. I don't know many people, unless they're like vegan, who don't like fried chicken. So a lot of stereotypes come from a really screwed up place. And a lot of stereotypes come from extremists. Every group has extremists: white people, black people, Hispanics, Muslim, Christian, whatever. Famous example: Hitler. He was a white guy, he was Christian. Well, he was part Jewish, but that's another topic. Um, but he was against Jews, he was against blacks, he was against gays, he was against this, he was against that, and look what happened. You know, um, people people in America are going around killing people because they're gay or because they believe in this or they believe in that or they're Muslim or they're whatever, and that doesn't represent the majority of people. I don't know a single person that would go out and just kill somebody for no reason. Um, so my microphone's falling. Um, a lot of the worst crimes in America are done by white Christians. So for them to turn around and say, all Muslims are bad or whatever, I turn around and say, well, look at you. Your people are doing just as bad. What's the difference between going to a school and shooting up a school, or going to a concert or a movie theater, or wherever these things are happening? What's the difference between that and somebody bombing a building? To me, it's a different method, but it's the same thing. They're both acts of terror. And especially when it's rage, or it's fueled by rage and fueled by racism or prejudice or whatever. Um, to me, it's all the same. And I've met some Christians. Here's an example. I had an ex-girlfriend. All right, this is going to get a little dark. I'm sorry, but she was raped at a party. She got pregnant. Guy went to jail, and her mom, who was a born-again Christian, threw her out of the house for getting pregnant out of wedlock. Didn't take into consideration what happened to her. She was drugged and raped, and she had no choice in the matter. But because she didn't have an abortion, she got kicked out of her house. On the same token, I've met Muslims who would literally give the shirt off of their back in the middle of a snowstorm just to make sure that you weren't freezing. So, am I saying all Muslims are good? No. But not all Christians are good. Not all Jews are good. Not all people are good. Not all cops are good. I'm a big supporter of the police. A very big supporter. I mean, when stories come out about cops doing this or that, I think about it and I'm like, well, what led up to that? And generally, when you get the full view, there's a lot more to it. So I don't believe that any one group of people are bad. I believe that every group has extremists, every group has good and bad, and just generalizing people, it's wrong. It's so wrong on so many levels. And here in America, we've had a lot of problems between cops and blacks, and a lot of that has to do with racism. A lot of it started in parts of this country where they haven't progressed, like here in Massachusetts. It's very rare to find racism. um, Although not too long ago, I was at a gas station, and a guy was pulling into the gas station, and a woman literally went through a right turn only lane, almost hit him, just to get to the gas station one car in front of him. And all he said to her when she got out, or when they got out of their cars when they pulled in, was, "Hey, you almost hit me back there. Just be more careful of things." And this woman went off saying, "Go back to Mexico," and this or that. Turned out the guy wasn't even from Mexico. He was born here. His parents were born here. His grandparents came from, where did he say? Like Peru or something? And it's just the generalizing, the stereotyping, it really angers me. And I think you guys have seen this in the chat. I don't put up with any of that. Um, if you guys come to my chat, I want you guys, no matter where you're from, no matter what you believe in, I want you guys to have a safe space to go for, an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, whatever, however long you watch. I want you guys to be able to feel like you can come and speak your mind and be safe doing so. And I think I've done a decent job of that. I hope you guys get that feeling, because I want my chats to be a safe place for you guys. So, you know, I mentioned in the last video that you guys are very young and you guys are still forming opinions on things. And I just want you to kind of take what I'm saying into consideration. Like my parents grew up when, and again, I'm talking about America because I'm in America. I don't know exactly how it was like for the rest of the world. My nose is like driving me nuts. It's so itchy. Um, and there's a little bird right next to me, basically. But my parents grew up in the 50s and 60s. Well, my mom was born in 1960, but my dad was born in 52. So they grew up during a time where blacks were not treated fairly. And the first instance that my mom saw of this was she was like 8 or 9, and and her friend from school wanted to come over. Well, she never told her parents that this friend was black, and they actually kicked her out of the house as soon as she walked in. And it had nothing to even do with the fact that they personally were racist. I mean, because of the time they grew up in, they do have some racist thoughts, but they're not anti-black, if you know what I mean. Like they might say something that's, like stereotyping or, something like that. But my grandfather's, he's friends with all kinds. I mean, he had, where he lived before, his neighbors were Indian and he was best friends with them. They've matured from that. But at the time when, like Martin Luther King was doing what he was doing and Malcolm X and all them, tensions were really high, and they didn't want the scrutiny that came with it. So that's the problem, and I see it happening again in this country when it comes to Mexicans now. We have this crazy notion that Mexicans are the problem, and especially the illegals and all that. I'm not talking about just all Mexicans or anything, but illegals in our country. Most of them are Mexican, but they a lot of them aren't causing harm. Obviously, like, you're breaking the law. If you get caught, you get caught. But the hatred that the American people have developed for them, we took away their ability to hate on blacks. Then, the Gulf War started, and, some Muslims started getting crap, and that kind of died down a little bit. And then 9/11 happened. Now it's all anti-Muslim. Well, now that we're starting to move away from that a little bit, now it's anti-Mexican. It never ends. So, I don't know. I want you guys to just open your minds up to things. Don't, obviously listen to your parents, listen to what they say, but form your own opinions. Especially when you guys start getting older, you guys start getting closer to graduating high school and things like that. Really question everything. Don't talk back or anything. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, um, when you hear something, don't just take it for, at its word. Do research, look into things. And it doesn't just have to be about people, anything in general. The last video I talked about was, about drugs. When I was in high school, or actually even before high school, we had a program called DARE where a police officer would come in and talk to us about the dangers of drugs and this and that. But all they did was use scare tactics. They didn't inform you about drugs. They didn't tell you what these drugs do to you. And if they had actually given the facts instead and let us form our own opinions, I bet you more people wouldn't have done drugs. My town that I grew up in, there became a real big pill problem, and you know a lot of people associate this program to actually raising drug use, not lowering it. And the reason people do drugs is because as a kid, you tell them don't do something, well they're going to do it. Whereas if you tell a kid, if you start doing heroin, this will happen, or if you do meth, this will happen, or whatever. This is what it does to your body. This and that. Um, that works far better than just trying to scare them. The truth is out there. You guys just need to find it. And when it comes to people, just remember you don't know what somebody's been going through. You don't know what their life was like. You don't know who they are. Even if you're friends with somebody, you don't truly know who they are. So give them the benefit of the doubt. Um, I don't know. That's all I really wanted to say. I kind of just went on a rant, but hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys in the next one.